While fishing 75 miles offshore, we heard the call no one wants to hear come over the radio. SOS, boat dead in the water at the R7 Navy Tower, 35 miles offshore. Quickly, we entered the coordinates into the GPS and we headed that way. Upon arrival and speaking with the captain, we determined that his batteries were dead. Using a jump box I have on board, we jumped his boat off and we followed him into shore to make sure he got there safely. The reason for this presentation is to properly go over boating safety equipment, waterway markers, docking, and mooring your boat. And remember, they're all important things to know. Have you ever been that guy? If you've ever owned or operated a boat, now is the time to shake your head yes. For you who had never owned or operated a boat, I'm talking about the guy who doesn't know how to dock his boat, how to load his boat on the trailer, or how to even tie a knot. You're laughing, but you've never operated a boat, so you don't know how to tie a knot, believe it or not. For boats over the 21 foot in the state of Georgia, required equipment, life vests. Life vests are required for every person on board, and if you're under the age of 14, a vest is required to wear at all times. A throwable flotation device is also required in the state of Georgia because gunnels on boats 21 foot and larger have higher gunnels than other boats, and you don't want to hit the persons pulling them out of the water. Flares, in case you have no communication so you can send up a signal. VHF radio. Please do your radio checks, and remember, channel 16 is always the Coast Guard. An air horn in case you lose all power and don't have any other audible device. And a fire extinguisher. We all know what that's used for, to put out fires. That is the most dangerous thing on a boat, is a fire. Docking a boat. I'm not going to tell you how to back into a slot. I'm going to tell you the basic 30-degree approach. When learning to dock a boat, it is important to know which way the current is going. You want to go against the current and approach it at 30 degrees. Once you are about 1.5 times the boat length from the dock, you will cut the boat away from the dock and you will slowly kill the motor and guide into the dock. Once you are about a foot from the dock, you want to turn your motor towards the dock and slowly put it in reverse, and this will bring you tight against the dock, and then you can tie your lines. Waterway markers. It is important to know waterway markers. Caution, water hazard markers. In the state of Georgia, this is imperative to know. We have 10-foot tidal swings, and you do not want to be stuck on a sandbar for 10 hours waiting on the tide to come in, and you don't want to damage your boat. Also, the most important thing to know if you're coastal is your red and green buoys. Remember, red, right, return. If the buoy is on your right, you are going into shore. And also, be polite and know your no-wake zones. Mooring and anchoring a boat. If you don't own a boat, you're probably laughing at somebody who doesn't know how to anchor. Well, you probably don't know if you're laughing. You should have a minimum of 3 foot of rope per foot of water. And you would rather have more. Once you throw your anchor overboard, let it hit the bottom. Let out the correct amount of rope, a minimum of 3 foot per foot. Once you have this out, you will tie the rope to the bow and you will slowly reverse to set the anchor. Mooring your boat. If you're approaching a solid moor, you will approach it the same way as a dock, but a little slower, and you will tie off just like you tie to a dock. If it is a mooring ball, you will slowly approach the bow, and you will get someone on the bow, and you will lasso the ball, and you will tie to the bottom of the anchor ball, or the mooring ball. In conclusion, knowing and understanding and practicing boating safety skills are imperative to operate a boat. According to the U.S. Coast Guard, approximately 4,463 accidents involving 701 deaths and 2,903 injuries and approximately $49 million of damage to property as a result of recreational boating. From these staggering numbers, 77% of these operators had no boating safety course. I'm not telling you this information to scare you. I'm telling you this information to inform you. Please, please take a boater safety course.